And yesterday he made $560,000. So if you weren't here last night, you missed something. But Red, my fiance truly adores you. It's the funniest thing in the world. Just when we think we're getting fit, we just wake up in the morning on a company trip and see you running somewhere, and I'm like, man, I gotta do better. So you go and get a gym membership, then you cancel the gym membership, all right? Last but not least, I want to give it up to my mother and father. I am a second generation, second gens in the house. Make some noise, right? You're building a business for the first gens, right? You're building a business for your family to take over. Funny story. Can I walk around? Can you guys hear me perfect?
Yep.
All right, cool. For those who don't know, this is a bang. This is what you do.
Amen.
When
Woo!
you need some caffeine in your life. I'm running off in California time. By the time I get back to California, I'll be running on Georgia time. So it's a beautiful thing. Where was I gonna go? Oh, okay, great. So you're building a business for your family to take over. The word legacy rings a bell here. The word generational wealth. I'm doing this for my kids. Anybody ever said that? I'm doing this for my kids, right? Well, I'm that primary kid that you were doing it for. My parents have been in the business now for 32 years. And it's so funny because I was the primary kid that reaped all the benefits. I'm talking about on every company trip, I'm ordering stuff by the pool, charge it to the room. I know when my dad gets the bills, he's like, Gary, right? You charged everything to the room. I'm like, yeah, right? Just knew it was gonna go through. Right? But growing up as a primary kid, my world was different. And I want you guys to take some things away from my talk today and really try and put them into play in your household. Growing up, I knew I hated school. I don't know if anybody else can agree with me, but I knew at like 5 years old, like I hated school. Not abnormal at 5, but around 6, 7, and 8, 10, 11, 12, till I dropped out, I hated school, okay? But I remember having a very vivid conversation with my pops, and I kind of tell this everywhere that I go. I was probably like 5 or 6, I'm probably 6 or 7 years old, second grade. I'm the only black kid in the school. I went to a predominantly Asian school, so that was hilarious as well. It was me and 3 other black kids. One's name was Amofa, so he was Nigerian. The other kid's name was Lyons. He didn't know he was black, but that's okay. Right? But it's funny. It's hilarious because I was a very opinionated child. Me and my dad always had open lines of communication. He never talked to me like I was a baby, never talked to me like I was a child. My voice was just as important as his. And this day, I guess I got up too many times to wash my hands. I guess I tried to help too many kids with their homework before I even completed mine, right? And the teacher just got frustrated with the way I was behaving, to the point where she took me out of the classroom and walked me to the car to my dad. And my dad's like, oh man, he told me, he's like, gee, I was freaking out. I'm like, man, only black kid in the school. And she's walking me out to the school. This looks horrible for me. And I'm like, dang, that sounds pretty selfish, G, right? But he said the teacher says, Gary was very disruptive in class today. He said, the teacher said he got up without asking permission. He was talking to everybody. He's a busybody. And my dad's being a dad. Gary, what did I tell you about doing that? And I'm trying to talk. Dad, Gary, be quiet. So he's talking. And then I just kind of, you have like that emotion build up in you where you got that ugly cry where the snot's getting ready to come out and you're getting ready to scream, right? Borderline a temper tantrum, but not enough to get a whooping, right? And so I go, Dad, why do you send me here? I learned more from you and Mom than I learned from these people. I hate going to school. And my dad was quiet. Hey, this is pivotal for me. He goes, Gary, if you learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, I promise you I'll take you out of school. You learn those 3 things, I promise you I'll teach you the rest. He says, you're an undercover agent. Only reason why you're going to school is to learn how the rest of these people think. Because one day, Gary, they're going to work for you. And you need to be able to relate to them. I believed that crap till I was a freshman in high school.
You're an undercover agent.
Dad, you won't believe what they were talking about in lunchroom. hey, but that was the little game that he played to keep my self-confidence so high. Those are the things that he told me to make me a big one. We played about it today. I haven't been in a car with my father and him drop me off somewhere since I was like 14, 15, right? And so we're getting out, he's dropping me off here at the home office, right? And I'm like, thanks, Dad, appreciate the ride. And he's like, all right, Gary, I said, thanks for dropping me off to school and grab my backpack. And I go, all right, Dad, I'll see you later. He goes, Gary, attitude is? And I go, everything, Dad. I did that every day. And these are little things that made me feel so much more different than everybody else. Because there's two things in life that you control. It's your attitude and your activity, and we know that. But if you talk to your kids and instill that into them, they're going to need that in the real world. Because believe it or not, there are teachers out there, and I know you guys might not believe this, but there's teachers out there that'll belittle your children.
Yep.
There's teachers out there that'll put your kids in a box. And I was one of those kids that got placed in a box based on my father's sins. My dad wrote a book about his life called The Preacher's Kids, Gangs, God, Drugs, and Business. He gave it to one of my teachers. Then the teachers formulated this idea that I was a gang member. It's like I'm 7 years old. How am I? Gary, you know about the Crips, don't you? I'm like, oh God, right? It's like, what's going on? I don't know what that is, right? So my dad kind of really just worked on my mindset. He didn't really care that if I was good academically. I remember one time I got like straight F's and I got a D in PE, okay? And my dad was like, don't worry about, my mom's freaking out, by the way. Gary, your academics, Gary. My mom's flipping, right? My dad's like, hold on. Have you read the teacher's comments? A pleasure to have in class. He edified my pops edified the smallest things and made them bigger than the Grand Canyon, but it worked for my self-esteem. So when you're raising these Primerica kids, make sure you tell them they're awesome. Make sure you tell them that anything is possible, because school is going to tell them that up until kindergarten.
Yep.
And what do you want to be? I want to be an astronaut. That's great. And then in the second grade, they give you what's called a career aptitude test. Then they tell you what you're going to be. You should be a firefighter. No, I want to be an astronaut. Firefighter. Right? I'm going to jump into this PowerPoint presentation. My life has been great. Honestly, being a Primerica kid, I was the Primerica kid that had dreams and goals outside of Primerica. If you were to ask me, hey, Gary, when are you going to join the business? I'd be like, hell no, I ain't doing that thing. Not from a negative perspective, because that's just what my daddy did. My dad did Primerica. My dad recruited people. My dad did the money thing. And I was like, I'm not really good at math. Like, I'm good at adding. I'm good at, like, almost good at subtracting. Like, this is like 19. Like, I'm not good at math. I can't do financial services, financial planning. But I remember being at the convention 2013, and we thought my father was going to get inducted into the Wall of Fame, right? And so they're doing the whole Wall of Fame deal. And they got the cameras out, and they got the camera in my face. And everything's going on. Like, I got a camera in my dad's face. It's the Wall of Fame. So it's an emotional event. And my dad's name didn't get called. So that hurt, right? You know what hurts even more? When you got 500 people wearing shirts that say Kornegay Wall of Fame 2015. Or 2013. That hurts. But I left that room with so much passion. And I really felt like, I didn't understand how Primerica worked, but I felt like, oh man, we got a point to prove. Man, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get my dad into the Wall of Fame. So when I joined Primerica, my first POL name was Wall of Fame, and I joined the business with a chip on my shoulder. I just joined the business just to learn about it first, but then that happened and it kind of added fuel to the fire. And so what I'm going to do is kind of run you guys through my career really quick, and then I got some pictures because a picture's worth 1,000 words. You guys cool with that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Joined Primerica January of 2014. Had no background in financial services, as you guys are getting ready to see. I did not know what I was getting myself into. Competition is huge here, and especially in our office, I didn't know that I'd be competing so heavily. Put my application in January 10th. I became a regional leader almost 2 weeks later. Just competing, following the system. So please say the system. I think that is the biggest thing. I didn't know anything, and I'll be the first one to admit it, but because I had a field trainer and a coach that said, Gary, do you trust me? And I said, yes, Dad, I do. He says, do everything I tell you to do. Sit up front, take notes, come to the office suited. I want you to follow the system to a T, and when you do that, I can almost guarantee success. And so we started following the system. A part of our system is you have to go district, and then the next step is you have to produce some districts. Sounds pretty familiar, right?
Yeah.
And so we followed through with that, but we did it in 2 weeks. So I produced a direct division leader and a district outside of that. And we just got to work. Didn't know what I was doing. My first 2 weeks, we did $17,000 in field training production. It wasn't because I was good. It was just because I ran the play that coach called. But it makes me look really good, doesn't it? Man, that kid Gary's a stud. I'm like, no, my dad's the stud. I'm just the byproduct of the stud, right? Hey, listen, I told my dad, I want to be one of the fastest regional vice presidents produced because I heard that you did it fast. My dad was like, well, that's A.L. Williams. I did it in 8 months. I'm like, dang, G, that's fast. You can't even have a baby in 8 months. He said, you want to see something faster? My coach, Rick Susie, did it in 6. And I was like, okay, cool. I like to compete with that. I'm going to do it in 7 because I'm better than you, but I don't know if I'm better than Rick, right? And so 7 months later on my 21st birthday, I became a regional vice president and got this deal rocking. And so this is kind of what I'm going to show you guys. First of all, follow me on Instagram, right? I really do believe that once you get to know somebody through their social media presence, and this is kind of all jumbled up, but I'll read this. It says, all truth passes through 3 stages. First is ridicule, then strongly opposed, then finally accepted as being self-evident. I know you guys can't see that pretty well, but this spoke volumes to me when I sat in my first op night and I saw my dad put the slides up. It says, all truth, not some truth. All truth shall pass through 3 stages. First, you're ridiculed, then you're strongly opposed. Please say strongly opposed.
Strongly opposed.
See, most of you guys are going to go home and talk to your friends and your family and get strongly opposed. But at some point, you will finally be accepted as being self-evident. See, everybody that's great had to go through this process. Name somebody. Stephen Jobs, he was a hippie. They called him that. They called him names. Ridicule, opposed. You know, a software company called Apple? That's weird. Then finally accepted as being self-evident. Now one of the fastest growing companies in the world today. Actually one of the highest grossing companies in the world as well. So I'm gonna show you guys a picture, right? Anybody ever seen this picture? Okay, cool. So when you look at these people, do you think that you could be successful working with these people? If these people pulled up in a white van, right, and said, get in, I got a meeting on Tuesday. Who's getting in the van? Nobody? Everybody say, please say ridicule.
Ridicule.
Please say opposed.
Opposed.
Please say Microsoft.
Microsoft.
So your eyes are killing you. See, most people have sight, don't have vision. These are the founders of Microsoft, just a small company that you guys probably never heard of, right? This little guy right here looks like Pee Wee Herman. That's my man Billy Gates. All the girls like, hey, Bill. The guy's like, hey, my girl with the white collar's not too bad, is she? Everybody in this picture is a billionaire. This is what they look like. In a garage talking about Microsoft. Ain't nothing soft about micros. Like, what are you talking? They sounded crazy, right?
Right.
They looked crazy, right? Hey guys, listen, this was me when I first started. This is a kid that was full of dreams. That was me at a car show. I'm 14 years old. I'm getting ready to drop out of high school, and I'm at a car show. And I'm like, man, that's a bad feeling. But look at me. I got a great t-shirt on. I'm pretty sure I didn't have no lotion on, right? Don't laugh, it's my truth, right? I used to throw parties, right? We threw a pajama jam. The best thing about being a Primerica kid is when the lease is over, you got one night to throw a party. I threw a party, 1,000 people came to the Primerica office. It was lit. Girls got in free in pajamas, right? It was crazy, but does this say financial services, the dude in the blue robe? Does that say regional vice president? Does that say $100,000 earner? No. Hey, listen, what about this guy? The guy on stage rapping at the Key Club in front of 700 people for an album release party at my 18th birthday party. This is me. You can tell somebody you know a rapper now. Actually, I'm a real rapper, not with a W. I didn't rap gifts at Macy's. I'm a rapper with a R. I got a mixtape. Don't check it out. There's a lot of profanity on there, but I grew from that. But this is where I started. This is where I started, Red. Believe it or not. This is me. Hey, this is the name of my first mixtape I put out called Not Filthy Rich, but Barely Broke. You know, it's just a different mindset, a different way of looking at it, a parallel, right? This is my first mixtape. But this is me when I joined the business. This was my small rinky-dink team. This is my founder's picture. When I took this picture in October, it meant nothing to me. These are the people that believed in me. Here we got Jose Gomez. He's a veteran. We got Sergio Castanon. We actually went to the same continuation school, which is kind of cool. Jasmine Smith, Vivian Diaz, Nicholas Brown, Larry Morris, Elvira Ortega, Fabian Romo, and I don't know who that girl is leaning on me. I can never figure out her name. We're going to find her one day, right? But these were the people that believed in me. This is after I said, team, we're going to take a picture. We piled into my office and took a picture. Hey, listen, we sold a dream. We sold a vision. We said we're going to be the fastest promoted regional vice president the company has seen in a while. We're going to be the youngest regional vice presidents. We're going to be the youngest people to make 100,000. I was 20 years old in this picture. We got it done that same year. From April to April, I cash flowed $107,000. Clicked over 100 grand my first year in the business, and this is the team that made it happen. A little bit bigger than the first picture, right? But when you start talking about a vision, it becomes infectious, right or wrong? And when you start selling people, hey, listen, I'm going to be big, and there's no proof, certain people will attach themselves to you to help you create the proof. You guys feeling me, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, look, here's the next picture. This was our meeting. I had a meeting in Bakersfield, California. That's Central California. I'm from Southern California. That's about a 4-hour drive. But this is the first regional vice president I produced. His name's Adrian Anderson, the light-skinned guy in the middle. Right, him, right there, right? And it's so cool because he believed in my vision and he didn't even know me. All of my friends that came to my parties, everybody that wanted to hang out with me, I'm the guy when they get to the door, they're like, yeah, I know Gary. And they get in for free. But it's like, nobody when I invited them to Op Night wanted to get in for free.
No.
I could put a tweet out, 1,000 people show up at a party, but I say, hey man, I want to invite you out for a business overview. Hey, y'all ain't coming. Girls get in for free. There's no gimmick, there's no catch. They didn't show up for me, but these people did. Listen, this is Sergio and Kylie Castanon, one of my first $100,000 earners. They became RVP their first, I want to say, 16 months in the business. So I went in 7 months, right? Adrian went in 10 months, and then Sergio went in 16 months, right? And that's Sergio's team, a bunch of beautiful men and women, man. It's crazy. There's so much leadership this guy has, right? And then this is his replacement leg. Her name is Vivian Diaz. She's an RVP, $100,000 earner. She went RVP, I want to say, 18 months from IBA date. And so when you see this, we're young and we're going after. We have a lot of energy. But the most beautiful part about it is we're going to talk about it. And we're going to make it a new norm for people to say, hey, listen, if you're under 25, you should be making $100,000 a year in Primerica your first year, year and a half. Because there's a certain standard. Do you guys agree or disagree?
Agree.
Come on, man. This is April and Monte. Please say April and Monte.
April and Monte.
These are game changers right here. I went to their house, replaced their whole life policies. It was like 105 degrees outside, and I don't want to be outside. Black attracts heat. I did not want to be outside, right? But I went outside, and I replaced those whole life policies, picked up her son's IBA first, their first 10 months in the business. Only know how to sell life insurance. Ain't figured out the other side of the business yet. They cash flowed $100,000 in business. Today, they're the #1 regional leaders in the nation. They're at, I want to say, 51,000. Our base shop's at 101,000 so far. We'll finish up a little over 150,000 in base this month. But this is a young couple. He's 21, she's 45. They're not a couple. That's a mother and son if y'all trying to figure it out. It's like that boy got game, but she like young boys. One of the two, right? Hey, listen, I thought this was huge. Thoughts become words that become actions. Thoughts are prayers, and God's always listening. So what are you thinking about? What are your constant thoughts? What are you constantly listening to? What are you constantly watching? When I'm on my A game, I'm telling you, I'm locked in. Why? Because I have a goal. I need to make it happen. Listen, so remember that picture that I showed you of that kid in front of that blue Bentley at 14? I was just a dreamer. Actually, when I turned 21, I went and bought it. See, what are you dreaming about? What are you thinking about? Look at this. I thought this was cool. This was my team at our gala when I clicked over 200,000, and that's when we only had, I want to say, 3 RVPs, right? This is my beautiful fiance. Met her in business. She came in for an interview, and boy, did she get recruited. Oh! Look, hey, we had a chance to take her mother to Hawaii and show her some different things. Got a chance to take this cute picture. I told you I was a little ashy, but don't judge me, right? Hey, and she said yes. She said yes. So we got her a $100,000 ring, and she's a $100,000 earner as well. The beautiful part about it was when I met her, Red, I was making $150,000, trying to figure out my hand from a hole in the ground. I partnered up with her, and she was the glove that completed my match, like the glove that completed my hand, right? We jumped to $270,000 in income as a couple, right? And then after that, she said yes, right? We got engaged January 1st of this year. Woo. Love is what it is. I'm working on getting qualified, right? This is a beautiful thing. And then how do I go over? It's not going. All right, cool. I thought this was cool. I'll finish with this. Started flirting with hard work and failure, became my ex. Got engaged to the money, now I'm married to success. I went out and bought a Ferrari, right? As a primary kid, it's like, what do you get somebody that has everything? I always save my money, Bobby. I always save my money. I had a MAP account set up to save 75% of every check that I got. Some months I was saving $21,000. Some months I was saving $19,000. Some months I was saving $25,000. It just depends on the month. But every month I was saving large amounts of money. And my dad said, just keep saving. I said, Dad, what am I saving for? He said, we're going to get you a house one day. And I'm like, dang, what kind of house are we going to get? And so we set it up, and the Lord blessed it. I said I wanted to move to Atlanta, and we made some things happen. I was actually able to buy my parents a home here at the Chateau Elan. And so this is the home that we're staying at while we're here. It costs $1.3 million, but to put a down payment on a $1.3 million house at 25 years old, I told you I'm working on being qualified, Bobby. This is a beautiful thing. So this is our home at the Chateau Elan. But none of this would be possible without this group of people. See, these are a group of people that believed in me. These are a group of people that bought where I was going. These are the 3%ers. I know I'm over in time, I'm getting off the stage right now, but this is kind of how this whole thing played out. I'm a regional vice president, make $250,000. Sergio was the replacement leg, he's now an RVP and a $100,000 earner. Vivian, the young lady with the blonde ends, right? She's an RVP $100,000 earner. Elvira Ortega is an RVP $100,000 earner. Jasmine Smith is a replacement leg, and everybody else quit. You can't take everybody with you. You can't take everybody with you, and that's okay. You should not feel bad about that. Because if you do what you need to do, at the end of the day, there's going to be a small group of people that attaches themselves to you. And our founder said, he says you only need 7 to 10 key leaders. Well, I'm not done yet. We're just getting this ball rolling. We're 6 RVPs in, and we're on our way to $1 million. We're rolling, and we're just excited to be in business with you guys. That's my presentation. I love you. Have a great day.